Good evening, everyone. We're coming to you from Alpha Centauri side this evening. We got a little thing set up over here. We got some things incoming to Alpha Centauri. We've got the new air purifier max from Phrozen set up-ish. We're testing it out right now. Doing some content filming for that. Also filming some content for the Phrozen Enclosure. So that was pretty fun to do. So we're in the middle of that and doing some editing. So hang on tight, get your ice water, get your pretzels, and we'll be talking about some new 3D printers coming out that we've saw that have piqued our interest. We're going over some beginner stuff for those that are new to the channel or new to the hobby. And those that aren't new to the hobby, feel free to chime in if you have any tips or tricks when that section comes up, or even before then in the comments. So give me just a minute to get a few more things ready, and then we'll get this live stream kicked off. All right, got some things settled in here. We got our pretzels for tonight's episode and live stream. Strawberry shortcake from Pop Daddy Pretzels. Those are going to be dropping in tonight. So far, so good with the sweet pretzels. They've been a pretty big hit with me. I like my sweets, but we got our two different flavors of ice water tonight. We got black cherry and then also peach nectarine. That one's a pretty tangy one, which is pretty good. So I hope everyone's doing well tonight. We're gonna do some chit chatting here while we're waiting for a couple people to join the live stream. We got some cool things set up over here. Got the backdrop kind of organized for the Alpha Centauri side. I don't want to show you the Bambu Sanctum just yet because we got some surprises over there. Some of the unboxings that we got in last week. We got some of those unboxings unboxed, I guess. I was gonna say undone. But those are pretty cool. I had a blast. I got bought by a cat. If you haven't seen that short yet, I don't know if I put it out yet, but it was pretty funny. I'll get it out to you guys. But it's been a pretty good week here at the studio. We do have some news. Another company did reach out to us to try one of their printers. Flash Forge did reach out to us to see if we would try out their 85X in exchange for an episode. If we would, well, not necessarily an episode, but a review of the printer. I'll probably also do some sort of maintenance video on that printer as well, because if we have it in the studio as a printer, I want to make sure we get a maintenance video out on it. We do have one out for the Arco, update on the Arco for us. David Walton, what is that white box behind me? All right, yes, that is the Air Purifier Max from Phrozen. We got it in last week and we unboxed it this week. We got that content in the editor right now. We also have the Phrozen Enclosure that is here. We're going to show in a little bit. That's over on the Bambu Sanctum side of the studio here. But that is the Air Purifier Max from Phrozen. It's awesome. It's got 3 different settings. And the third setting, which is the highest setting, sounds like an airplane. If you don't have any like insulation in your floorboards or in the room that's around it, it gets pretty loud. But it does put out some air though, and filters really, really fast. So that's a trade-off of that. Right now, it's running behind me. I can't hear it right now. Maybe I'm deaf. I don't know. But it's on setting 2. So settings 1 and 2, it's kind of a normal setting. So, but it's wonderful. The filtration system in it, I don't know if I can show it to you guys or not here. Let me power that off while we're doing the live stream in the beginning here. So this is the big HEPA filter box thing. This is a free little thing they give you with the unboxing. But it is quite the filtration system. I'm very happy with it. It looks like I actually forgot to take some plastic off of something, so that's good that I did that. I've got to open up the plastic of the carbon here. I forgot to do. So maybe that's why it's a little loud. Oh, there's an edit for later. Put that in there. It's a nice little unit. But it's quiet unless you use that third setting, and then it's super loud. Sounds like an airplane. David Walton, let me slide this chat over here a little bit. I ended up buying the C1000 with the extra battery. What's up, Iceman? The C1000 you did with the from Anker SOLIX? Yeah, that's what we run the whole entire Bambu Sanctum side on. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 printers on that side. It can run it for about 2.5 hours. I actually had the Arco over there at one point in time, and with that running, and it ran it pretty well. The extra battery really helps, because if you didn't have the extra battery, it really doubles the capacity and length. So that 2 hours is about the sweet spot for us. So if the power goes out here, I don't think I've seen it go out more than an hour here. But now that I said that, it'll probably go out for like 6 hours, and I'll need to get another one. We are looking at options for this side of the house, our studio, because we're getting some more equipment over here, and we're just going to run the printers off it so that we don't have any print fails due to power outages. So awesome that you got that, David. Super excited for that. Iceman, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. We're just getting started for tonight. We do have some cool things that we are going to showcase tonight. We're also going to talk about some of the new printers that we see coming out. One of them we did get in the early depositor on, and I'll tell you guys about that. That's not a, hey, you should go get this printer, or you should go do this. That's just us saying, hey, this is enough interest for me and the studio to put that $50 down to hold our spot to, and it's fully refundable because it has enough intrigue for us. We've also reached out to the company, and we'll go about that later. But some news on the Arco. I do have it set up to work on it tomorrow to get that new board put in. So I really want to get that printer back up and running so I can get some up here. It's not really going to be up here, but I'll put it over here. And that enclosure, let's talk about that. So last week during the live stream, I showed you the boxes and how big it was. I'm going to give you a little bit of sneak peek of how big it is. I have the content in the editor right now that I'm going through and getting that polished up. We did just drop the iBOS heater video today, so if you haven't watched that, check that out. It's got the assembly. It's got what we thought about it. We've had it about 60 to 70 days now, and it's doing great. We did have to get the replacement fans from iBOS. They sent us out. Their customer service is excellent. So let me show you guys, before we get too far in here, on what that enclosure looks like. I'm going to head over to the Bambu Sanctum for just a little bit, but we will be recording over here tonight for the most part. So look at that enclosure. Oh, and that's next to the Arco. That thing is massive. And then you can see Riley and Dante sleeping on the printers back on. Lazy bums. But this thing, let me tell you, when Phrozen put out that video that a human being could fit in this thing, they're not wrong. I was in there with Riley when we were setting it up, but it is massive. This is the Arco for size reference, and also that's going to be working on that tomorrow. Here's the new Hall sensor they sent out. Here's the new board, and we'll get that going. But this thing is absolutely massive. And the magnetic port, or the magnetic vent that comes with the Phrozen Air Purifier Max does work with this top part here. You just got it lined up so that the magnet doesn't kick it off. But it does work with that, and it works with the other two sides. I've tried that out. That's really cool. But this thing, I got to find it a home here in the studio. I'm probably going to have to build a shelf for this thing because it's so big. But what I want to do with this is I want to turn this into not a resin thing, but I want to put some of the open frame printers that we have, like my Neptune 4 Pro maybe in there, and do some like glow-in-the-dark recording with UV lights in here. So like the reverse of what Phrozen intended it for. Because the UV lights that they include in there are UV-free lights, just don't peel the orange film off of them. But this thing is huge. And then of course we got our Snapmaker going. That's going strong. I've got like a 3-day print going off on that. It's gonna be pretty giant. If you haven't seen our giant giraffe video, that's out. The giant duck came off. We're still testing the plate cycler. We now have 8 plates that we can shoot off of that thing, so that's doing great. And then we got our A1s and our P1Ss just going ham with some fidget toys. Let me get back over to the other side so I can see your chats, if you have any dropped in there. But that thing is massive. I am super impressed with how big it is. And the cats have tested it out. Riley and Dante both have sat on the top of that thing. Riley is probably about 12 pounds and it did not budge a bit. David, Andrew, that's huge. Yeah, that is a very huge printer. Welcome to the chat, Andrew. Good to see you. David, that's the cat's house now, right? Be honest, maybe, yeah, it might be. Maybe we'll turn that into some sort of cat enclosure. I don't know, but that thing is pretty big. Quick note: that little humidity thing that you see right there, batteries are not included, so you're gonna have to get some watch batteries for that thing. I haven't gotten any yet, so. But let's get back on over here to the Alpha Centauri side of things, and that thing is massive. I have to find a home for it here in the studio somewhere. I have some cool plans for it, but I've got to I've got to figure out where it fits, because it doesn't fit on the shelves. It's too deep and too tall for our filament, that it gets in the way. But that is super exciting. Even the box doesn't do it justice, and I thought the box was big, and it's pretty sturdy. Like, whatever material that they put inside of it, it really doesn't flex as much. The Velcro is really strong, that holds the joints together, and then also the interior where the LED lights go, the little Velcro strips are really strong in there too. So it's not cheaply made whatsoever. So I'm excited to put that into production somewhere. And whatever shelf that I build for that, I'm actually going to build it strong enough for my Elegoo enclosure that also holds my Fecta laser engraver, and I can bring that back inside here and vent that out somewhere. So that's all in the mix around here somewhere. So super excited about all that stuff. So, but we're recording over here tonight on the Alpha Centauri side of the house. Hope everyone is doing well. Before we get too far into it, let's get tonight's pretzels. Strawberry shortcake by Pop Daddy. I am a big fan of the sweet pretzels, so let's try these ones out. Definitely strawberry. Definitely strawberry. Like, I just drank a strawberry shake. And I had this one going. Yeah, that thing is so quiet. It's crazy. So we'll get those two items added onto our beacons page. So if you guys want to get those, I'll get those probably loaded up tomorrow to our beacons page as affiliate links. And I'll have those review videos coming out probably in the next week or so. I just want to be able to make sure that the two systems can work with each other, and that magnetic port can also fit on the back of the Arco as advertised. But everything else is spot on. So for tonight's live stream, I've seen a couple of printers drop out there, whether it's just the information or a new drop is coming. And if you guys have seen some other ones that I haven't seen, please drop it in the comments or in the chat family to let me know. Just because I am so intrigued with the way the tool changers are going, and all the different innovations that different companies are coming out with now. We did see the Elegoo Centauri 2 come out. I have the Centauri 1s behind me. I don't know if I'm going to get a Centauri 2 or not. I'd like to, but at this point in time, I have so many multicolor printers that I don't really need Centauri 2, because it only does 4 colors. At that point, I mean, it's like $400. I mean, if you're just getting into the hobby, that wouldn't be a bad printer to get. But for us here at the studio, we're really looking into those innovations that help with purge and eliminating waste. So the more waste we can eliminate and time that we can eliminate, the more profitable, I guess, would be for like when we do art fairs and stuff. So, so with that being said, let's get into some of those printers that I've seen out there. first is going to be the Anycubic Kobra X. I saw that they dropped the, I feel like it's not a tool changer now. I feel like if not a tool changer now, it's not worth it. I also agree, Icemans, that if it's not a tool changer, or if it doesn't do that filament waste problem, it's not worth it for us here at the studio. I can say that. I can't say that wouldn't be worth it for someone just getting into the hobby, because even though the Snapmaker is super efficient at doing those tool changes, swaps, it's really cool to watch too. But I think it's still beneficial to have one, not necessarily a single color printer, but a single toolhead printer, just because as a beginner you get to learn how each of those that single toolhead works, and then you can apply it to the multi-toolhead ones. Okay, so now I know each one of these toolheads does this same thing, but just in a little bit different way, so it's more efficient when it switches. So I think that could be very, very useful for beginners into the hobby. Not saying that beginners shouldn't get the Snapmaker, I'm just saying it would help with that learning of what that tool changer does. But anyways, back to the Anycubic Kobra X. I saw that came out, and it's interesting because I think Creality just a minute ago dropped their Spark X, and that looks very similar to the Bambu Lab A1, and now this Anycubic Kobra X looks like the A1 again. So let me switch to screen capture here and get on over to that side of the billions of tabs I have going on here. So, and I should have brought up an A1 Bambu Labs website. Let me bring that up too, guys. Bambu Lab. Just so we can compare. I'm not trying to knock any companies, because if they're similar printers, that's great. And this is a great entry-level printer for, it's ironic that the A1 pops right up, for new printers into the hobby. And it is now capable with the regular AMS, but let's go to overview. Well, they changed the website around. Tech details. So this printer and this printer, let me go back so you can see the two printers. So the A1 and the Anycubic Kobra X, they're both those single nozzle or single tool head, but can put multiple colors into that tool head printer. This one advertises that it can really help with the color waste problem, I believe. 2 times the material savings, they say here. Let's see if we can see where they... 2 times the speed, 2 times the material savings. Okay, let's see if we can go down and see where it says that at. It can do up to 19 colors maximum. I'm sure that's with their multi-material units. It's got their Ace 2 Gen Engine 2, so it's got new technology, they're saying in it. There's a shorter distance between the filament cutter and the nozzle. So I saw the same thing on... I'm going to switch back here real quick. So I saw the same thing on the Creality Spark X. So to me, these companies are taking what was done in the A1 and just tweaking it to be more efficient. And it looks like I can't remember what I saw on the price now, but it looks like a little bit cheaper. David Walton, I bought the Spark X for the fun of it, last non-tool changer. It works, it prints nice, does save a lot of filament. Not really. All Creality did is use that retraction thing to help save. See, I appreciate that input, David, because I don't have the Spark X, so I can't test that out for our user or our fan base. But I'm glad that we have a viewer that has it, that can speak on its behalf. Because to me, that they're taking what the A1 does and they're tweaking it slightly, putting their label on it, and I don't want to make any assumptions, but that's what it seems like. Now, there may be different technology in it. There's maybe new drives into it. But at the end of the day, it is the single tool head with multicolor capability. And what I see in the 3D printing world is we're moving away from the single tool heads and the single nozzles for multicolor to eliminate the waste. So would this printer be a good printer for a beginner? Very well. It very well may be. Like I said earlier, this would be a good printer to learn what 3D printing is all about, how a single nozzle and single tool head works, and then upgrade at a later point when you're ready as a 3D printer. You're like, okay, I understand this printer. I really know what bed adhesion is. That first layer is really important. How to clear out a nozzle clog. After you learn those types of things, then you're ready, in my opinion, to get onto the next level. And a few other things. But that type of printer has a market for it still. I feel like we're in that transitional moment where the advanced users of the 3D printing community are ready for those tool changers. They're ready for that filament waste and reduction waste, and they're ready to move on to the next generation. And then we have the newcomers to the entry point where these multicolors that the advanced users were using in the beginning, or when they came out, they're becoming more affordable and available for those that are just beginning their journey on the hobby. And that's my personal take on it. Drop it in the comments whether you agree or disagree. That's what these live streams are all about. We're talking shop and answering any questions that people may have on their filament journeys and their printing journeys. So that's the Anycubic Kobra X. We did see that come out. That's not the one that we put our money where our mouth is, per se. But the next printer takes not necessarily the frame of the Anycubic X, but the frame of the single nozzle tool head changer, or the single nozzle tool head, and makes it into a tool head changer. So that printer is the Co Print printer. I talked about it briefly on one of the previous live streams a few weeks back, but I really wanted to get into, okay, what does this do? What does this mean for the community? Is it going to be innovative technology? So let me go back to screen capture here, and I have that pulled up on another tab. So the Co Print Quadro is what it's called. I don't need any spin to wins, thank you. But the early access reservation, this is not one that we did either. It is interesting to us here at the studio. It's kind of got their Founders Edition nameplate. If you do back it, it's pretty cool to see. I may back this with the deposit. I don't know yet, but let's go get into the weeds on this one a little bit. So this tool changer design here, it's got multiple tool heads, and they're slimmed down, as you can see, on the rail. It's really cool to see. And it looks like they have some sort of filament mounting system on the back here. Let me make sure I'm not missing any chats. That's not the one I wanted. That's not the one I wanted either. Where did my live stream go here? There we go. I need to see your guys' chat. Yeah, okay, there you are. All right, let's get back to here. So this gives you early access. If you back it for your $20 spot, you can back out, fully refundable, not a purchase. Designed for future of 3D printing, which I like that claim. It does look like it's designed for multicolors. As we can see here, is engineered to deliver waste-free, full-color, and multi-material 3D printing. Built on a bed singer technology, it features 4 completely different independent tool heads that all ride on a single x-axis, but move independently from one another. Each tool head can be loaded with a different filament, so it's very much like the A1 version of the Snapmaker. It's got the 4 tool changers, it's got the filament that can go in there, and it's independent. Now, I don't know if they're gonna, and I guess I could read down a little bit further, if these are gonna be able to print, like say if you have the orange over here and blue over here, if they can print the same at the same time. They're advertising 600 millimeters per second printing speed. But this printer a few weeks back, I believe it was Colin that said he was interested to see if anything like this would come to the A1 frame, and it is indeed looking like it's going to come to that. This would be a good printer for us to put in the Phrozen enclosure we just got. 2 on the right and 2 on the left, ready to engage instantly when its turn comes. This architecture removes waste, reduces print time dramatically, and it delivers a new generation of efficient, clean, and high-quality color 3D printing. It looks very similar to the A1 frame. It's got those 4 tool head changers on it, and I don't know if I saw where the build plate volume is. Where did I see that? I swear I saw it somewhere here. Oh, they give a nice graphic here of comparison of the product. It's supposedly reduced more waste than the Snapmaker U1. I don't know. I don't have this printer. I haven't seen it out in the wild yet, but there is this claim out there that it saves more time but the same amount of filament than the Snapmaker U1. It is made by Co Print, which let me get back to our screen here. It is made by Co Print, which those are the makers of the upgrades you can do to your Neptune 4 Pros, your Enders, that allow it to become a multicolor printer. So I'm guessing that they know what they're talking about. I don't have any of those upgrades and I can't speak on their behalf, but I'm guessing that since they're part of that world and that upgrade world, they're going to be able to deliver with this machine, but I don't know that. Again, this is speculation, and don't back this on our word. Do your investigation, do your thorough, and as we always say, especially when it came to this printer, don't back it for what it's promised, back it for what your need is. If your need for multicolor printer, it says it can do multicolor, but it hasn't been released out in the wild yet, so technically, as far as I'm aware of, the printer doesn't exist. It's not a physical, tangible thing yet, like these printers behind me, so it may come to fruition, it may never. So I don't want to get anybody started on some hyper fixation on this printer. Just something that's struck my eye out there, and I'm beginning to get excited about it. So let me grab something to drink here, a couple more pretzels. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you have any issues with what you've been printing lately, we can troubleshoot that together. I recently just learned that on the A1 and the A1 Mini, since they have the same tool head, your heat block behind your nozzle, or your quick swap nozzle, if you have one of the newer versions and you're having print issues with it, you can take the heat block off very carefully. I think there's a wiki how to do it. And on the back of the heat break block, there is screws that you need to tighten because those can be loose. I just did it on our A1 Mini, and it fixed some layer line issues that I was seeing. These are really good pretzels. Like legitimate strawberry shortcake flavor. I'm not sure if I'm eating a piece of strawberry shortcake or a pretzel. So, before I get into this next printer, and the last printer that I have for us tonight, not necessarily the end of the live stream, but the last printer that I have to review, if you guys have seen any other ones after this, let me know, because I definitely would like to take a look at them. This next one, I did put the $50 deposit down. It's fully refundable if I decide not to get it. With that being said, that doesn't mean you should, as the audience. That means that it piqued my interest enough. It's got the potential for what I need for it, or for what we need for it. And I did some research on the company that is behind it. Before I tell you what the printer is, I'm going to tell you the company that most of the CEO and some of the other advertised employees, I guess is the best word I have for it now, came from Mova. And if you don't know what Mova is the company that makes the automatic robot lawnmowers. And I've seen, actually here in Michigan during the summer, I've seen several in our yard, not our yard, but in the neighborhood, and it works. I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, we're in that age now. So it's really cool to see. And so this next printer is the AtomForm Palette 300. And last week at the end of the live stream, I did see somebody drop it in the comments that or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, have I seen that? So I do want to touch base on that tonight. I have done a little bit of research. Like I said, I've identified who's behind what CEOs and marketing directors and where they've come from, what their background is, before I got too far into this and decided to click, okay, here's the $50 deposit that's fully refundable to hold my spot. So the AtomForm 300, sorry. I gotta go back to screen capture here. I spent 75. I put my 50 on it too. Yes. So I had to do some research because it looks promising, but I learned the hard way with promises that may not be delivered on. I'm not pointing any fingers, but this one for $50, and it is a fully refundable deposit to hold a spot for when the Kickstarter comes out, so we get more information. As long as it's fully refundable, I was okay with it. That doesn't mean that you as the audience should go out and do it. Again, do your research, check these out before, and get comfortable with what they have presented. And it's okay to wait if you don't want to. But let's check out this AtomForm Palette 300. This thing looks promising. And again, keyword, you can't see my face on screen right now, but keyword promising. There's evidence that it is out in the wild. They did take it to an event recently. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's in here somewhere. But this has a build plate volume of 300 by 300, so roughly the same size as our Arco here in the studio. And those of you that have the Arco, you know what that build size is, so it's pretty big. 36 colors, 12 materials, all in one print, 12 auto swapping nozzles, 50% faster swaps, 90% less waste. 6 spools built-in drying, so think of your AMS unit. Instead of being 4 units for your Bambu or your Creality or your Anycubics, it's going to have 6. They're going to have RFID. I don't know if it's only going to be specific for their filament or if they're going to be able to use other ones. I don't know about that. I'm imagining in the beginning probably just their filament. However, they're advertising 800 millimeters per second print speed. Take that with a grain of salt. I would not recommend printing that fast because you're going to get some problems if you crank it up that much. Again, that 300 by 300 by 300 millimeter build volume, that's huge. That's not quite as big as the H2C, because I believe the H2C is right around 325 and it's in its smallest dimension. I know 350 in one of them, I think. I don't have it, but maybe someday I will get it. Ready for multicolor, multi-material, simplified. This is the part that had me intrigued. This part right here, under the hood. No more waiting. With the Palette 300 ready print. Feeding system, once the new nozzle is in position, the new filament is ready to print, synchronizing nozzle switching with the material transitions for maximum efficiency. So this is what I'm curious about right here. These 2 filaments, that one of them's already ready to shoot down the tube. With our P1, let me go back to the screen. I'll come back to this, don't worry guys. Oops, I didn't have you on screen share. Well, let's go back. The AtomForm Palette 300. This is the one that we're excited about. Or at the very least, I am excited about. The potential. 36 colors, 12 swapping nozzles. That is insane. If this mechanic works, because again, I haven't seen it. I can't state if it works or not. But this, in theory, if this works, this is the H2C but with 5 extra nozzles. And then you have the 6-spool built drying system. That is your AMS with 2 extra spools. That's cool to see. Looks like it's going to take up a little bit of room because it's a little taller, but it has those 2 extra. I'm hoping that, it doesn't advertise it here, but I'm hoping that when it says built-in drying, I hope it means print and dry at the same time, because that has been a thorn in our side up until a recent update. So 800 millimeters per second, don't print that fast. You will have, it's advertised it can go that fast, but I have yet to own a machine that can print that fast consistently and high quality. 300 by 300 by 300 large volume. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments here real quick. Hold on, Streamlabs. 6 makes more sense. Yes, it does, especially when you have that 12 color possibility. So those numbers, at least in my brain, 6 and 6 is 12. So you need at least 2 of their units to do to have all the colors be filled into the nozzle. And then if you have 24, you get 2 colors per nozzle. And then if you have 36, then you have 3 colors per nozzle, which is their max that are advertised there. Let me get back to that screen. Just want to make sure I didn't miss. Sorry, David. I apologize. I wasn't screen sharing on that. Thanks for letting me know. Anker took their 6 tool head out to shows, but never could get it to work when producing them. David, that is also why I only did the $50 deposit, because until I see this thing in the wild, or somebody gets a review unit and is allowed to show it, like, I need to see more than just what they got. But let me get back to screen share. We'll continue on with this printer. So the 6 spools, we covered all that. That acceleration is really fast. This is cool. I love seeing this mechanic. This does look AI generated to me. So I don't see this in regular video form, real life video form, I should say. This is the mechanic I was speaking about earlier. I'll go over it again. This we have P1S units in here, the Studio A1s, A1 Minis. The same problem exists for the time change. You have to wait for the filament to retract all the way back to the AMS unit and then re-enter all the way back to the tool head. This one, it appears with their design here that this filament will be sitting here waiting and ready until the color swap. So that's really encouraging to see. Auto switch 12 nozzles, no more manual operation. The more automation there is, the happier it makes me, saves time. Filament save 90% filament, no more waste. I'm sure the other 10% is when you swap out a color, it's got to purge the nozzle. 50% improved switching speed, no more solo workflows. I just spoke about that on how from the AMS units that transition is a little laggy, in my opinion. So they're saying that this was printed in 7 colors, and in other printers it would cost 2,100 grams of filament, and it only costs 1,000 grams, just over 1,000 grams with their machine. Let's see what other buttons they have here. Just more examples. Okay, this was 8 colors, 700 grams of filament. This would have taken 1,900. I don't know what printers are referencing here, but I would imagine that's pretty accurate, because some of the colors that I have printed, I won't print because all the filament waste. Beyond filament manager dryer than ever, our RFID 6 meets all your filament. This goes over their RFID, and it goes over their drying. Yep, okay, so this answers the question I had earlier. Drying while printing. They have a little nomenclature here for down at the bottom, I'm sure, to state that maybe it's not coming right away, but it'll be available. Up to 85 degrees Celsius, that's pretty warm. I would not recommend printing PLA at that temperature. I usually do about, I think Sunlu one is 45. Otherwise you might melt it. Auto rotate drying, that's great. I like to see that. Keeps it drying evenly. Temps and humidity detection. and automated air venting. That's really cool because the IBOS heater that we just dropped the video on, that has automated air venting in the back. So get that moisture out without having to use those little glow out silicone packets. Looks like some of the different things that have been printed. How we ensure flawless prints. This is the technology. Let me go back to our screen here for a second because I want to get your attention. This next part is the technology that is going to either make or break this machine. It's looking like there's a camera that is going to watch the nozzles as like a guide to make sure they're swapping correctly. If they can get this right, this is going to make it for a huge, huge benefit. But if they can't get this right, I imagine a dirty camera lens is going to mess up your nozzle changes. A cracked lens, for whatever reason that happens, is going to cause your machine to be down. And this is speculation. I don't know. I'm not an R&D person. This is just me, Joe Schmo, analyzing this and offering my opinion. Like I said, I put my $50 down. I fully think that this machine is got huge potential, but I want to see more on what they have cooking behind the scenes, and if this thing lives out in the wild anywhere yet. Now, like they did with the Snap Maker, when they put the Kickstarter out, they said, "Hey, we're already ready for production with this machine. Our factory's already ramping up, so we're ready to go. Here's what we're offering," and it was a very successful Kickstarter. So let me get back to that. I'll make sure I click screen capture before I go anywhere. So this technology here, this is the key. The key is Palette 300's perfectly integrated nozzle design and smart positioning system. That to me looks like it's a camera or maybe some sort of laser. I don't know. That looks like it's going to be the key, like I said, the key to how it analyzes this nozzle change to make sure it goes correctly. Recognizes each nozzle's unique attributes. Doesn't say how yet. Color, material, and diameter, ensuring an exact match for every print task. Let's click the next arrow button. Confirm. Verifies the nozzle is perfectly secured through the nozzle camera. Okay, so there is a checks and balance here. They got a nozzle camera that's going to watch to make sure it's seated correctly. So that's 2 cameras, all right. And then automatically corrects for any tiny deviations to ensure flawless results through the visual calibration system. That's cool. So there's a 3-camera check system is what it looks like to me. I could be wrong, but this is what I observe. And that's really neat to see. Again, this is very innovative technology if this is pulled off. I haven't seen this anywhere yet. And again, here's the 12 nozzles move as one. Automatically calculates and compensates for minute deviations in the nozzle center. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this in a print. Oh my word. So if it can correct this is awesome. Automatically calculates Palette 300. If you are legit, my friend, that is awesome. Engineered for high-speed printing. Again, I personally have not printed at this speed, but that is awesome that they're advertising it. For instance, the Arco advertises that it can print at this speed. And that's debatable. Just because it can print at a certain speed doesn't mean it's the speed that's going to be the best quality to print at. So we got step servo motors. That seems like servo motors are kind of where the industry is at right now, so that's good. Steel access rail. All right, those are easy to clean. That's nice. High strength frame. Enhanced stability. What is the frame made out of? Absorbs impact and resonance for high speed motion. It doesn't really say what the frame is made out of. I wonder if it's aluminum or what it's made out of. Defining extensive material capability from everyday PLA and PETG to demanding engineered grade filaments like PC and PPA. Okay, so it's got a range of capabilities. 350-degree hot end, that's pretty hot, so that's that engineer level heat. 65-degree heated chamber, hardened steel parts, and dual cooling fans. I'm going to pause for a second here, guys. I need to get a drink. and get back to your guys' screen. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. So I think, and maybe we'll run into it as we continue to review this one, and what it's promising. I think this printer, I saw somewhere, maybe it was on the website somewhere, that they, and again, verify this information, because just because I think I saw it doesn't mean it necessarily happened. But I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that they're getting ready to launch right after the Kickstarter closes. So that's promising to see. But if that's the case, where are our, not when I say our, I don't mean actually the Glorious Geeks, I mean content creators. Where are the review units out there on this machine? I saw it was out at an event recently, and it looked just like it did in the pictures. The machine was built and it had the multi-material unit right next to it, the 6 multi-material spools. It didn't, the picture that I saw didn't see it, show it. It wasn't a video showing it working. It was just, it was there, and it said it got great reviews while there. So this printer is very, very on my radar right now. Yeah, they showed a picture of a warehouse with them printing. Iceman, if you can get me that information, I would love to do a video about that, because, and you can send it to me either on Facebook or at thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com, because I think this printer has a lot of potential. I think this is, I'm not saying it's going to be, again, this is potential. This could be snap maker level, fill in the gap of the industry. Snap maker's right there at the $800 to $1,000. This one's right there at the $999 for the machine. I think it's $1,200, and we'll get into that when they list it later in the thing. That's the gap that I was talking a few weeks ago that, thank you, Iceman. That's the gap I was talking just a few weeks ago that I expected Bambu to fill. To me, that's a huge gap in the price, because the H2C, which has got the multi-material wasteless print, 325 millimeter build volume, that prices a lot of people out at $2,300, because, and that doesn't include the extra nozzles to fill those 7 spots that I just found out. So that's a lot of money for people. That's a lot out of a lot of people's budget. That $1,200 mark, that's much closer, if not in some people's budgets, for multicolor, multi-material, wasteless printing. Something wrong. What is a good printer to get before the ban? As far as the ban, that's a whole other live stream that I'm going to be doing probably next week. I need to research the legislation on that. There's a lot of fear in the printer market right now with both content creators and hobbyists about the ban because of the Washington legislation. And I think I don't want to assume, but I think I heard it in Massachusetts is looking at it, and they're looking at different legislation to monitor 3D printing, and they're saying it's about printing 3D guns, and we'll see where that goes. I don't necessarily want to comment on that much right now, but a good 3D printer, that's going to be hard to we don't know where that, if or when that ban is going to happen, and what printers is going to affect. I imagine any printer that connects to a network that you don't plug into an SD card that you slice the file for, I imagine those are going to be the first ones that are, I mean, this is all speculation. We don't know on where that's going. I will do more research on that so I can give you a better answer next week, because it is out there. The legislation is being proposed. Whether it passes or not, I don't know. But there is a lot of fear right now in the hobby about 3D printing and government banned. And for me, that would be extremely hurtful for not only my business, for the craft fairs and stuff like that, if I have to upload to a server or whatever it is, but I'm sure they're going to tax it somehow. So it's a very, it's a very scary time, and your question is very, very valid, and I want to make sure you know that. I don't have a firm answer for that because I don't have all the information. I don't think anybody does all the information, but I am not as informed as I would like to be to answer your question. I will get informed and look at that as legislation, particularly the Washington case. I used to live out in Washington State, to get familiarized with that because I know it is a hot topic right now for 3D printing. But back to this AtomForm Palette 300. It's let me get a little drink here before I get back on the screen share and get into the weeds on it again. I hope that answers the best of my ability for your question tonight. Something. Let's check out. Oops, I gotta click screen share, Ken. That helps. All right, so back into this printer. Big ideas formed in one go. Full scale prints. They're advertising that 300 by 300 by 300 millimeter build volume. That's excellent to see. I would love, and Abby can attest to this. If you're watching, Abby, you can attest to this, or watch our shorts. Recently, I've been going through a fad of printing rather large items on the snap maker than that duck, that giant giraffe, which is originally like 1.5 inches big from Cinderwing. I blew it up to fit the whole printer. So full scale prints, those are fun to do. So 300 millimeter would be the biggest wasteless multicolor print that I can do. And one go production, print an entire set of multi-material parts in one tray, boosting your production efficiency. Hang on a second, guys, I need to get another drink. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. This printer is really exciting. All right, so get you guys back on screen share. Appreciate you taking that pause with me. So, oops. One go production. They're advertising you can do multiple material parts in one tray. So if you have PETG or you have PLA or you have maybe even more than that, you can print them in one set. Start precise, print perfect. This was also another section that I was interested in. Their bed leveling, pre-print inspection of foreign objects in a chamber, and confirming the build plate type is matched. They're advertising that it's got a floating independent Z-axis motors, automatically leveling it to prevent print quality issues caused by tilted print bed. Active vibration compensation. That's good to see. Perfection starts with every layer, or every first layer. That is very true. If your first layer doesn't go down properly, that can mess up your whole print. Real-time monitoring. All issues are instantly synced to the AtomForm app, allowing you to monitor your print status anytime, anywhere for truly worry-free remote management. We get this with our Bambu Handy apps. We can monitor our device from anywhere. So it's good to see that they're going to incorporate this as well. Worry-free inspired creation. From unboxing to printing, hardware and software work seamlessly together. So they're advertising that this is going to be that Apple user experience when it comes out. Dual activated carbon and HEPA filtration. So it's going to have good filter on it for VOCs. Supposedly quiet operation. Privacy by design. Cameras are used to monitor prints only, ensuring your surrounding environment will never be captured. Local operation only. Feel free to disable the cloud services and maintain complete control over your data security. So it's saying that you can operate on your local network, which is good to see because of that legislation we're seeing. You don't have to. And then here's all those nomenclatures that they added in there. Drying while printing, due to the differences in various material thermal stability, the simultaneous feeding of PLA and PETG is discouraged while the drying function is engaged. So it's saying if you have molded materials loaded up, hey, don't print while drying because the different requirements. You don't want to dry at ABS temperatures and have PLA loaded in there too. That would be a mess. And then you can subscribe to get emails and stuff. But that's what I'm excited to see from this printer company. Now I saw here somewhere, and bear with me as I go down a rabbit hole here as I try to find my way back to, oh, there's a button for it. Where they had that out, I think it was on their website, AtomForm.tech. I guess it just takes you back here. Where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. Anyways, I saw where this printer was out there somewhere in the wild. I saw, but get off a screen share here and back to me. Have a link to the Kickstarter to research it more, Andrew. I thought I saw a link to the Kickstarter. Where did you know what? Let me hold on. Since you guys aren't screen share now, I got a little bit more flexibility. AtomForm Palette 300 printer Kickstarter. I thought I saw it. Okay, so it is on there. I'm going to put this in a chat for you guys. So this is the Kickstarter page that they have going on. I got to go over to David Walton. I need to send you a pre-production to test for us. David, on that note, I have reached out to them. I don't know if my little channel here, someday we won't be such a little channel, but we'll still be a family. I don't know if our little channel here is big enough to get noticed by the big fish, but the reel is out, and we'll see if they answer. I would love to have a pre-production unit hiding somewhere here in the studio that I can give you guys hints on, but not reveal. That would be funny. No, I wouldn't actually do that because of non-disclosure agreements, I'm sure. But it would be good to know, to be able to get hands-on and give you yay or nays on anything that I could, per se. So let me get back over to that Kickstarter link and get you guys that link and drop in that chat to share. I would be very excited if that were. I would do it as much as I could. That is within the non-disclosure agreement that would ever occur. But that's the Kickstarter link. I'm going to share. Click on screen share again so we can go through it together. In case you guys do not want to watch and look at the same time, you can just watch and watch, if that makes sense. So this is the Kickstarter page for this printer. I'm very excited for this. And I think maybe this is where I saw it was out in the wild. I did see this page once before. Okay, CES, that's what it was. We showcased our Palette 300 for the very first time at CES 2026. Did that just recently happen? Or did they mean 2025? Regardless, it was a recent event. And here it is in the wild. Looks very, very similar to what they advertised. Here's the printer. I don't know if can I zoom in on here? Let's see. Where's my zoom button? Yeah, there we go. Zoom in just a little bit. So here's the printer. Here's all the filaments they got in the background. There's a material unit. And it looks like some prints that they put on it. It doesn't show whether it's printing or not, but it looks like people were impressed. They were taking pictures. Well, that's very exciting to see. They got some sort of robotic hand. It says featured on Tom's Hardware. All 3D Pre is a name I recognize. Voxel Matters. These are all bigger names I've seen. So it's out there in the wild. Well, they brought it to an event at least. 36 colors, that's wild to me. That would mean you'd have to have, if I can do my math right, 6 of these units to maximize your 36 colors, which is incredible that we're at that point in this journey. And a lot of the same material we went over on their website, this same video. Under the hood, no more waiting. Once the new nozzle is in position, the new filament is ready to print, synchronizing the nozzle switching. Same video we saw earlier. It looks like a lot of the same information. They turn this into a little bit of a, I guess, a GIF, so it animates itself. Those are pretty big savings. Beyond Filament Manager, drier than ever. I saw a price on this thing somewhere. Maybe it was on that big page, I don't know. Reprint possibilities, all these things. All these we've reviewed earlier. Defining extensive multi-material capability. Okay, so this gives us a little bit more of an in-depth look at the prints, or the parts, I should say. Heated chamber. Big idea, formed in one go. Okay, one go production, we saw that on the other page. Start precise, print perfect. We did see this same video on the other page. They're advertising their auto leveling feature there, their vibration compensation. I know I saw a price on here somewhere. Worry-free inspired creation. They're advertising their software with it. I don't know. This looks like a web-based type thing. I'm sure, I would hope it'd be an Orca slicer at some point. Local operation, we've seen all this stuff. Pay your $50, get your access to our best offer. Maybe I had to click on the other page. Let's scroll back up to the top here. It does say launching soon, which is nice. I saw on here somewhere where it said, okay, this should take us, okay, this takes us to another page. This is the AtomForm Tech Products page. Frequently asked questions. I think that's where I saw. And before I move on, let me go and check the comments. Make sure I'm not. Yeah, I missed a few questions. CES was in January. Okay, so just a month past. David Walton, I have a random question. Has anyone noticed with the latest Bambu Studio, and I see it on Creality Print too, the layer printing versus total layers is off right now? I'm on layer 190 of 169. I have not noticed it, but I've noticed that with some of the updates I've seen on some of the Bambu forums that some of the things are changing for people. Like some people are having purge waste problems now that wouldn't before. So I haven't actually updated to the newest software yet. It's usually on maintenance days that I do that. So I got one coming up in about a week. So I'll let you know on that if I find that issue. But I did see that on the Bambu forums there were some people having different issues because of the update. Has it been causing any, David, has it been causing any physical issues with your prints, or is it just the, looks like the status layers is different? Ashley, we are getting the Spark X Tuesday. Decided to try out a different brand other than Elegoo and Bambu. The Spark X is going to be very similar to the Bambu A1 from the designs that I've seen. So that bed slinger is going to be pretty good. We don't have that in the studio, but like I said, we have the A1 in the studio, and that is a very similar design. It's going to be your bed slinger that is going to be able to multicolor, and it'll go through the 4 PTFE tubes into the one, and then go into your nozzle. Now, if you use the, I believe that's Creality. If it's a Creality thing, you can use their AMS unit with it. So that is another feature that you can do with it. But it's very similar to the A1. It's going to have the same general features. Yeah, it's going to be a really reliable machine. Basically what Creality did is they copied what Bambu did with their A1 and shortened the distance between the hot end and the extruder section. So that's where they're advertising, and they changed the retraction where it pulls the filament out. That's where they're advertising the filament waste savings. David, no, just the layer count is way off. Okay, so it's good that it's not actually physically affecting a different, it's good it's not physically affecting your prints, because a lot of people have been out there, like I said, that purge waste problem, it's caused a lot of fails. So be careful of that as you go through this update. It is a thing out there right now. I'm gonna wait probably maybe until the next maintenance period to do any firmware updates. On the Spark X, when putting it in the spool 2 and 3, you can easily have 2 spools touch. Make sure they are separated, and when one spins, it will help spin the other, or it will spin the other. Okay, that's something good to know. I appreciate that, David. Maybe we'll get one of those. I'll reach out to Creality and see if they'll send us one for a review. Has Prusa came out and said the price for their tool changer printer? Iceman, if you're talking about the index printer, I don't think that they have. I haven't heard anything about that index printer in a while. It's kind of been just sitting out there, and I don't know what it's doing. Just like Bambu, I haven't heard anything on what they're doing. For that conspiracy theorist in me for Bambu, I think that they're out there doing something behind the scenes because of everything, how fast and rapid this environment is changing for 3D printing and tool changers and color waste elimination. If they don't fill that price gap where this AtomForm is going to drop in at, I'm going to be surprised. Legitimately, I don't see them leaving money on the table per se. They're going to bring the Vortex to a smaller printer. Maybe 4 nozzles on the P2C or P2S for the P2C. But like I said, the conspiracy theorist in me is they dropped the H2D March of last year sometime. So the 1-year anniversary on that, maybe they dropped the P2C or they dropped the X2C or whatever that next printer is going to be. Maybe at some point in that time they're going to drop that. I don't know. I'm not affiliated with them yet, but I did reach out to them, and we'll see what goes on with that. But I think they're leaving money on the table, and they got something in the pipeline. They're just not, because of Bambu has established themselves as the company like Apple. They pride themselves on the premier user experience. I don't think they're going to release anything until they know it 100% works and that they're comfortable with it being out in the environment, which I can applaud them for, because nobody wants to get a printer that they have to like super do work on. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. It's almost like Bambu came out with the H2 series while others went in another direction to solve purging, and they are going to have to swizzle for the H3. That is a very possibility. They could have. Maybe that's what happened when we saw last year with the Snapmaker when it dropped, and we saw Bambu's response to the Snapmaker. We saw the Snapmaker make its announcement, and like a month and a half later, don't quote me on the time, this is all from memory. Hi, Kilala. This is all from memory, but it was not much long after that we saw that the H2C dropped, and they were originally only going to drop the H2S, which was the single nozzle version of the H2D, but they felt they needed to make the announcement because of the market share was changing, and that they saw the Snapmaker was getting so much attention. It was one of the most, if not the most at the time, successful Kickstarter for a 3D printer ever. So props to Snapmaker on what they did, and they are getting huge orders for their machine. They're already dropping, they delayed the top hats coming for our machines. They gave us a coupon for that, but they're getting so many orders for that machine that I believe that they've delayed a lot of things so that they can make more printers instead of having changing over some of their equipment to make these parts. So props to them. I'm glad they're doing so successful. The more competition in this space, the better for the end users. So it's very exciting to see where we're going. So David, I agree. I think Bambu had to pivot because innovation drove them to. Other innovation in the market drove them to. So let's get back to this AtomForm Palette 300. There was one other thing. I do want to see if we can't discover that price. Let me screen share. Let me find it and then screen share with you guys. I know I saw it somewhere. Hi, Kilala. I know I saw it somewhere. Maybe it's when you click the do your deposit. Let me click that and see if it's there. I'm going to have to go back to the AtomForm actual page. Just trying to find it, guys. Where in the heck did it go? AtomForm Palette 300. I keep wanting to call it 3000 like it's Iron Man. I know I backed it. Where did I back it from? So subscribe to get VIP offer and Palette 300. Okay, so reserve now. That's what I want. Okay, when you click the, I don't have it on screen share right now, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. I saw it somewhere where they're gonna have the price on the machine. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I saw that it was gonna be $9.99 for the machine, and then $1,200 with a combo with the pricing. Where did I see it at? Was it on AtomForm's website? AtomForm website. Let me go back to my, so I can't find it right now, but I saw somewhere out in the wild the pricing is expected to, I'm not going to say it is because then that's concrete and I'm stuck to it, is expected to be $9.99, and then I'm pretty sure I saw that the material unit with that early bird pricing is going to be $1,200 with one unit. I don't know if they're going to offer on the Kickstarter page, and this could change when the Kickstarter goes, maybe it was on the Kickstarter page, but catch them on comments. David, and the other Kickstarter Wonder Maker with the 4-head tool changer is supposed to start shipping soon. The Wonder Maker, I missed out on that one. It's interesting to see these companies putting these on Kickstarter for launch. Watching what Snapmaker did. Be careful, because Kickstarter, and I got to make sure I say this out of good conscience, Kickstarter, nothing is guaranteed. And there have been printers, I think it was the Eufy make, or was it the Anker printer? One of the two put out a printer on Kickstarter and said, hey, we're doing this printer, back it now, and as far as my knowledge, it's still not delivered to this day. So nothing is guaranteed on Kickstarter. Do your research. Make a commitment that you're comfortable with, that's not going to put you in a financial situation that is going to hurt you. This channel is about bringing you information, not making your decision for you. I want to bring you information. This is to build excitement, but also to give you information on where the where the industry as we see it is going. So with that being said, it's on their Facebook page where you place the 50. Okay, Facebook. Let me grab that. Thank you, Iceman. I really appreciate that. Facebook. I've been getting advertisement for it too, ironically. That was the AtomForm Palette 300. It looks like there's an unofficial page too. All right, I need to minimize this. Okay, so let me bring this up so you guys can see. on screen capture, because it does give us more information about this printer. Sorry, I saw your comment, David. Let me get back to you in just a second. I don't want to put you guys in infinite screen share forever. So here's their, I wonder if I can share this. Is there a share button? Nope. More. Nope. I can just copy the link here, and I'll drop it in the chat here. You guys can see yourself, sorry. And get back over here. No, this one. All right, so this is their Facebook page. AtomForm Official, this is all their social media information. Here's where they had, that looks like Iron Man. If that's the inside of the printer, that's cool. Mova, okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So this is where they're at. Mova is the company that is behind the lawn vacuums, or lawn mowers that are robotic. I've seen some here in the neighborhood in Ludington, in Michigan, and they work. I was very impressed. I actually stopped and watched one for about 10 minutes. I hope it didn't creep our neighbor out. But there's the different products that they have out here, and then they drop this guy right here. So you can see their different like vacuums and stuff that they have, and then they're like, hey, by the way, we have a 3D printer, and it's pretty cool. And they're like, is this an AI image? And they asked a bunch of comments. I'm sure they're talking about the lighting because it's probably really hot by that light. But anyways, let's get back to their, where is that pricing on here? Message follow. I want to see. Fans, any news? Marketing's been slow. That takes you to the Kickstarter. It's a pretty neat printer. Don't know where that went to. I saw it. I saw it just either earlier today or yesterday. Cannot wait for the release. Let me be one of your, everybody's like, okay, I'll try this out. So I'm gonna have to do some more research. Maybe I can get this for you guys next week on where I found that price. But it is super exciting to see this. Let me get you guys off screen share again. Oops, hey, there's my desktop. So it is super exciting to see all this innovation coming to the makerspace for 3D printing. David, getting back to your comment. Wasn't that the Zoda printer that prints upside down and has a multicolored tower? That would be another good example of a printer going to Kickstarter and never coming to fruition. That I'm aware of. Maybe it will someday, I don't know. I don't want to make any speculation, but it's been a long time. I have a Works Landroid for my lawnmower. Yeah, it's interesting to see these other companies getting into the 3D printer space. For example, I did some research on it, so I have a little bit of knowledge on it. DJI, the company that actually makes the microphone that I'm using, and you could, sorry if you're hearing, there's reports that you can hear my hand sliding on the table. If you hear that, I'm sorry. I'll work on that, adjusting the microphone. But they make this microphone. It's the best microphone we've owned yet, and they also make drones. They make drones. They just put a hefty investment into Elegoo. So that is information that's out there. Some sort of millions and millions of dollars of investment, more money than I'll ever see probably in my lifetime. But they made a big investment into their company. So that's another one company coming into the 3D printing space. Bambu came from DJI originally. And then we have Mova coming into Palette form, or AtomForm, sorry, AtomForm Palette 300. And there's other companies that are doing the same thing. They're seeing how big the market share is going, and I think it was last week that I said to everyone that at some point in time, It's going to be like a Back to the Future moment. I think there's going to be a 3D printer in everyone's home, so they can print, you know, forks, spoons, whatever, and it'll be quick and user friendly. And then there'll be your 3D printer maintenance person, and maybe that'll be a robot that works on the robots, or that works on the 3D printers. I don't know, but I know intuition-wise that's where we're going. I mean, you see AI everywhere. It's in my workflow during the day. I'm sure it's in everyone else's workflow in some sort of life, whether it's in the news or AI is there. It's not going anywhere. So the innovations coming to the space. Companies are seeing that there's potential for 3D printing in probably every home at some point. Like back in the day in the 90s, Apple was like, there's going to be a computer in every home, and now we have computers everywhere. I think 3D printing is going to be the same way. Somebody marked this in their chat or in their YouTube studio channel, so 20 years from now you can be like, hey, Kim was right, or maybe I was wrong. Andrew Crubb, from the Kickstart page, click AtomForm Palette 300. I found the page, but it won't let me share it. Okay, let me try it. I'll screen share it. Let me do it before I screen share and give you guys the infinite screen of death. From the Kickstarter page, click AtomForm Palette 300. Let me get back to that Kickstarter page. Here. From the Kickstarter page, click AtomForm Palette 300. Aha! Here we are. Let me share it. Oh, I did bring it up the screen earlier. I must have missed it. So, screen capture. Sorry about the infinite screen of death. Someday I'll learn how to not do that. Okay, here we are. So I clicked the AtomForm Palette 300. This is where you pay your $50. You can do PayPal, more payment options. The works. Best price ever. Extra off, super early bird price. 1 year warranty. I did click screen share, right? Yeah, you always are. Launch day exclusive. Pledge $50. Price starts from $9.99. If that's what the printer is going to be, that'll be a very momentous savings. $21.99. I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be that much, because that's right up there at the H2C price level. And if they make it that price level, I would hope that they wouldn't make it at that price. So I'll just leave it at that. But so I thought I saw it on here somewhere where they talked about what the multicolor unit. It must have been when I went through the pricing. Launch day exclusive, $9.99 for this unit. I'm not sure this is included. Oh, I can click this. This is probably where I saw it. No, they just give you the unit price. But I know I saw somewhere on here that it's like $12.99. This set comes together, which I would hope that during the Kickstarter they'll offer a bundle that is this unit and the other unit, or another unit of this together, so you can maximize those 12 nozzles. That's really cool if they printed that. Deposit. Okay, it takes us back there. So frequently asked questions, because let's see if any of us had these questions. Before I do that, let me make sure I didn't miss any chats. $9.99 just for the printer, $12.99 is for the combo. Okay, Iceman, I appreciate that. So that means that it will be $12.99 for the combo, assuming they don't change anything when they launch the Kickstarter. All right, glad I caught that comment. Let's get back to what we were doing. In Internet Explorer, or Chrome. How much is the AtomForm Palette? Maybe this is where I saw it. Yeah. Show our appreciation to your early trust and support. We're offering a VIP offer on the AtomForm Palette 300 3D printer for our first wave of supporters. By placing a $50 deposit, you can lock in a VIP price of $999.99, which I'm sure $999.99. That might be the the 99 cents I injected in there. For the printer only, savings of $1,200 in the retail price. The deposit is also 100% refundable if you change your mind before the official launch. So does that mean if you change your mind after the official launch, it's not refundable? I don't know. How do I complete my purchase with my deposit? And again, I'm not saying you should back this printer. I'm just going through these frequently asked questions so that you, as the audience, have the information as well. Make a $50 deposit on this page to secure the VIP offer. Please ensure the email is used for this deposit matches the one you'll use on Kickstarter. I'm not sure I did, but okay. Oh no, it is, because I used my Kickstarter email. Visit the campaign page and choose your perks. We'll officially launch on Kickstarter soon. Every VIP supporter will receive a purchase link via email. You can then complete your order on the Kickstarter page and then select your desired reward and add-on. And then step 3, receive your refund. For users who placed a deposit and backed us on Kickstarter, we'll process a refund 14 days after the campaign ends. This ensures you get the Palette 300 at the most favorable price. I'm pretty sure Snapmaker did the same thing. At any time by cost, okay. Well, that's a little bit of clarity there. Is the deposit refundable? Yes, your deposit is refundable. If you decide not to move forward with purchasing the AtomForm Palette 300, you can request a refund at any time by contacting your customer service team at Kickstarter at AtomForm.tech. Why do I need to use the same email address? Okay, because it makes it simpler for AtomForm, I'm guessing? Yep, to make it a smooth refund process. Is there a limit on the number of AtomForm Palette units I can purchase? That's a good bad problem to have if that's what you're doing. No, there's not a set limit. However, each $50. If you wish to purchase multiple units, please place a separate deposit for each one. So that's a lot of work, but hey, if you got the funds to do that. Worldwide shipping. Currently, we ship to the following countries and regions: North America, United States, Canada. And they got a little, I bet I know what that's for, that asterisk. Europe and all these countries, and Asia Pacific, all these countries. Please note that we currently do not ship to remote areas of the United States, as such as I had a feeling it was going to be Alaska was going to be. Hawaii makes sense too, just because it's so remote. Be a lot to ship there. What are the shipping fees and applicable tax? Best logistics, so they don't really know yet. I mean, for us in the United States, I don't blame them because that's changing all the time. When will the AtomForm Palette 300 officially launch and begin shipping? That's the question I was trying to find the answer. The AtomForm Palette 300 will officially launch on Kickstarter soon. Good. We expect to begin shipments shortly after the campaign ends. You'll receive a tracking number as soon as your package has shipped. The exact delivery time may vary depending on your delivery address and the courier service. Okay, let me bring this off of screen share real quick and let's talk about that. Okay. From that verbiage, they said they expect to ship soon after the Kickstarter ends. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, and I hope you do too. If you decide to back this unit, I don't get anything for it. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying for us, that's not making a promise. That's saying we expect to. Without naming any names, there's been many printers that expect to ship right after Kickstarter closes and they hit delays, and sometimes they never meet the shipment. So again, this is what Kickstarter, nothing is guaranteed. You invest your money with the hopes of getting a reward. The ones that we've invested in the Kickstarter, Phrozen and Snapmaker, they both made good on theirs. But there are those stories out there and real life experiences out there for some of our viewers that backed a printer and never got their printer. So be careful. This is a promise that they're attempting to make. If I see video footage out there of the factories being loaded, like Snapmaker did, that would go a long way with getting reassurance for our viewers. And even if it's not sent to this channel, if it's out there on the YouTube or TikTok or wherever it may be, that would be huge for this Kickstarter promotion. It's like my Arco. I still don't have my chroma kit. Yeah, I'm sorry that you don't have your chroma kit. Yes, they were a printer company, manufacturer, that they delivered their goods, mostly. Iceman, looking at you, sorry about that Arco, or that chroma kit still not being there yet. They're out here, they're available. I don't know if you've emailed Phrozen, but please do. Their customer service is great. They've helped me honestly, I'm lackadaisy a little bit about repairing my Phrozen Arco because I've been busy with other things, but I'm going to get to that tomorrow. So their customer service is great. They've been very helpful for me. I hope they will be for you. Yes, Andrew, even Phrozen was delayed. So when you're backing a printer on Kickstarter, nothing is promised. Nothing is a foregone conclusion. There may be delays. Be prepared for those. There may be promises that are made that cannot be delivered on. They weren't on Kickstarter though. That was their own doing. But nothing is, like I said, nothing is guaranteed. So please, please, please do your research. And if you do make the investment to back this printer or any printer, do so from a position of, hey, I believe in this idea. Andrew, you found some more information. 1800s for 2 dryers with the AtomForm. So it looks like the dryers are going to be $400 each. It looks like what they're saying. So if it's $9.99 for the machine, I'm going to do some math. I'm not the greatest at that. $9.99 for the machine, $12.99 for the machine and single combo, and then probably $17.99, $1,800 for the 2 dryers with the AtomForm. That means you're getting the full unit for $17.99. I shouldn't say you're getting. They're promising a full unit with 2 AMS systems for $17.99. If this comes to fruition, that price point, you're looking at this machine with full multicolor capability. If you get your $50 now, versus getting an H2D. I think the H2D is around $1,700 without any AMS units, or and I could be quoting that price wrong, but it's around that price range. So that's those 2 machines you're getting comparison wise. One of them is not in existence yet that I know of, and the other one is in existence and is a fully purchasable, workable, very high quality machine. So hypothetical, reality. So that's where we're living right now. And I keep sliding my hands. I apologize, guys. Interesting. Nozzle temp is 350. Some high temp filaments can be used. I saw that earlier too, Andrew. 350 is right up there with those engineering grade filaments, I believe. So this printer is advertising that it's got some engineer level. I can make parts for various things that require structural sound integrity. That's a good thing to see. So that would make the printer more marketable to other than those that are just have a print farm or multicolor wasteless printing for 12 nozzles for 32 for 12 colors, because I'm sure with 32 colors there will be some waste, or 36 colors. But that's it's a pretty big deal for this printer. And just to recap, if you're just joining the live stream, the Anycubic Kobra X just is getting ready to drop, or maybe it just dropped. I didn't check today. I think when we covered it in a live stream earlier, I think it still said getting ready to drop. It is budget friendly. I would say it's the entry. It's equivalent to the Spark X that Creality just dropped, or the A1 series from Bambu. Those are all the same style machines. They're gonna have their different brand advertisements, but they're all going to be that bed style, slinging, multicolor capable, with an AMS unit or an AMS light type style component to it. And that's going to be great for beginner 3D printers to learn what that single nozzle and tool head does, to understand the concepts of 3D printing, and to get their feet not necessarily just wet, but to really understand and get ready for that next level printer, that snap maker with multiple tool heads, that Prusa within, I believe the Core, I think it's the Core 1 or Core 1 that has the index that's coming out, or the H2C that's got the Vortex in it, or this AtomForm or Co printer that's coming out. These tool changers that the industry is moving towards for these advanced users, for the wasteless color change printers. And this industry has, from what I can envision, has two user groups. It's got the core user, I shouldn't just say core, that's not correct. It has the advanced user group that have been 3D printing since 3D printing started, or not much longer after that. I started in 2018, and 3D printing was along well before then, but that have been 3D printing for quite a while. They know their nozzles, they know their filament swaps, they know the filament cutter, they know what causes jams, they know that drying filament is a key to not having stringing, that they have the experience of the 3D printing world. So they're ready for those tool changers and those advanced things and can work on those. And then you have the group that is just entering, or is entering, or has been around for the last 3 to 5 years. That's almost me. Maybe 3 years since multicolored is matured, I guess I would say, around 2022, when after Bambu has been out for a little while. Those users and newer are out here learning their 3D printers, learning what it does, how to work on it, what makes it go, and that's what these types of machines are for. The Anycubic Kobra X, the Bambu A1, and the A1 Mini, and then the Spark X that just came out. Those are the I'm learning 3D printing, and it's multicolor, and what does that mean for me? And what is this 3D printing world all about? Is my take on it. And if you have a different take, please share it in the comments or in the chat, because I'm always learning, as we all are together in this life, and we all have different facets and perspectives in this life. So that's my little spiel about where these different machines fit for different people. A couple of things you guys can be excited about that are coming up. One, BQ, like a couple weeks ago, did reach out to us and offer us a couple of things for our units to start a collaboration. So there's going to be some things that you're going to see for the P1S. You're going to see some things for the A1, and I think that's it. Going to be some of the upgrades that we'll let you know if they work for us in the studio, if they're true upgrades, or if they're the cosmetic upgrades. I'm super excited about that. They reached out to us because they saw our content, they saw the build plates that we use for their machines, and they said that they liked our content. So we're going to do a collaboration for a small package, a package from them. And then also, FlashForge reached out to us recently, and they offered us a AD5X to review for the studio. So we're going to take them up on that offer and see what the AD5X is all about. Ironically, funny story, when we were looking at getting our A1 Mini for Print and Pretzels mobile, back when we were doing it, we were debating on whether to get the A1 Mini or to get the AD5X. So now we have that opportunity to review both models and present that to the community, because that was a problem we had. Which one should we get? Because they're both very, very similar. One's just a core XY printer and the other one's a bed slinger. They're about the same bed size. I think the AD5X is slightly bigger though. Catch up on the comments here. The Prumo, I'm about to buy my first 3D printer. I was going for a simple one, but I find the Bambu Lab P2S. Just bought my first one. I bought for my first one, or should I go for one more cheap? Just want to know opinions. Okay, so to tackle that question, we have 3 P1S in the studio. And that one is definitely at a cheaper price point. And there are a couple of upgrades that P2S is offering that I wish we had in the studio. Our A1s have that quick swappable nozzle. The P1S does not. That P2S is going to have your quick swappable nozzle, which makes nozzle changes 1,000 times easier. So when you want to go from a 0.4 millimeter nozzle from using standard PLA to say you want to print with wood PLA, which has coarse material in it, you have to swap you should swap from a 0.4 nozzle to a 0.6 and a hardened steel nozzle at that to avoid the abrasiveness. Doing that on a P1S is a little bit of a pain. You have to unscrew your nozzle and disconnect it and reconnect it. It's not magnetic, it's not easy, and it's a little bit of a pain. With that being said, if you're okay with doing something like that, the P1S is totally, there's a reason why they refreshed the P1S series, or the P series, to the P2S, because they believe in what its core aspects are. You're going to get some flashier things like AI monitoring and a better camera for the P2S. Either machine is going to be a good machine to have, but if you're just beginning a 3D printer, there's more to it than just which one's best for me. You have to think about, all right, what is my purpose for 3D printing? Am I getting into the hobby just to get into the hobby and experience what that's about? Do I want to do something with this hobby? And then there's the aspects of how much space do I have? Do I have a ton of space to put my printer? Do I have a whole underground studio that I can put it in? Or do I live in a small apartment? And we go over that in our video on our channel. And let me get you a link for that real quick. And I'll drop it in the chat. We did do that recently. We reviewed all 3 in this video and tell you exactly who we think they're for and what their purposes are and the pros and cons on that. So I hope that video helps, and I hope the answer that I provided today helps. And if it doesn't, if you have any further questions, drop it in that chat, and I'll definitely do what I can to answer that for you. CD guy, hey, just letting you know, I did find some prototyping videos in AtomForm's official Discord. One of them even shows the nozzle change system. CD guy, if you can get me that link, please email it to thegloriously01@gmail.com. I would definitely like to take a deep dive on that and see what that's all about, because this is a very promising machine. I would say if this can be delivered on, this ranks right up there with that H2C machine. So it's got a ton of potential, but I also have to carry a grain of salt with that because it is coming to Kickstarter. Kickstarter printers can be great, like the Snapmaker U1, or they cannot be. So that's the risk we take with that being on that platform. You can wait for it to come out and get it from the official website, but then you have to pay the MSRP prices, manufacturer sales retail pricing. So that's the trade-off. If you want less risk and you want the actual machine when it gets here and is available to order through their official store, you don't take any risk at all, and you know the printer's there. Kickstarter, there's risk versus reward versus promises versus broken promises and all that spiel. So getting that information will be super helpful just to be able to present it to you guys as a community here on these live streams and in our long format videos. I'm just going to see if I can find that real quick. AtomForm's official Discord. Let me see if I can't find that information for their Discord. I thought I saw a social media page link. Okay, there it is. If you guys want to join their official Discord, whoops. get you that link. Here, this is their official Discord link. If you want to check out more, as CD Guy says. Thank you for that information, CD Guy. I appreciate that, because this printer is very exciting. I'm not trying to hype up the printer in any way. I am just trying to present information to you guys as it comes to me on what is exciting and happening in the 3D printing community. So again, thank you for that information. I just signed up for their Discord, and I'm going to check that out here after the live stream, because Discord for me, I mean, I'm on Cinderwings Discord. Discord seems to be the quickest way, to get information for the 3D printing community. There's different, I mean, Elegoo's got a Discord, Phrozen's got a Discord, although I think they could be a little more active on their Discord. And I think they are working on that. But these big printer companies usually have some sort of Discord environment that they're a part of. I know for a fact I'm very active on the Elegoo's Discord. I mean, I comment all the time, but I'm constantly reading through their Discord just to get update on things like the Centauri Carbon 2, what are some of the issues that are having with that, some of the, especially when the multicolor issue came out with the Centauri Carbon 1, and that wasn't a promise made. I was paying attention to that to see what Elegoo's responses were. They're still working on that currently for the Centauri Carbon 1. Dupromo, thank you for the answer. Absolutely, that's what we're here for. We're here for Printing Pretzels is all about, sometimes we'll work on some things, sometimes we're gonna do some demonstrations, but the most important thing is that we're gonna try to answer community questions that either your advanced 3D printer users, hey, I'm experiencing this, I don't know, and maybe somebody else in our community has an answer that can say, hey, check this out, and they can drop that in the chat family, or it's an answer that I have, but we're all about learning together and experiencing things like that together. So these Wednesday night live streams are a real joy for me to bring to you all. To Prumo, I got space and all, but there are so many printers, and I like to have the best profitable of everything. So you have plenty of space. That's good to know. That is your point of it's a hard question to answer is very spot accurate. If you want the best current printer right now, this moment, to be able to order to get, if you're brand new to 3D printing, that's tough, because the best 3D printer is going to be your Snapmaker U1. But that takes some knowledge about the tool heads and how they operate individually. Now, there's maintenance videos and stuff that we put out a maintenance video for the Snapmaker U1 about how to take care of it, but having that core knowledge of how your tool heads operate is something that I cannot state enough, is having the knowledge of how 3D printers work and growing through that experience from, I got my first A1 Mini to I got my H2C or my Prusa Core 1 or my Snapmaker with these tool changers. That's an experience I would want everyone to get. So for 3D printers, my best, brand new 3D printers, my best recommendation is going to be either the P series for Bambu or the A series for Bambu, or a printer that's like them. So when I say like them, I mean for that A series, you're going to have that Creality Spark X, or you're going to have that one that's about to drop, Anycubic Kobra X. Those types of printers give you an understanding on, it's the open frame, open enclosure. What things that you can't do with that is going to be, I can't print with ABS because it's open enclosure and needs a heat controlled environment. I can't print with anything that's got toxic fumes because it's in an open air environment. But for beginner 3D printers, you're not going to want that because you need to learn the basics of the filament. PLA is a great one to start with. That's the one I would recommend. Learn your PLA, and not all PLA is equal. You have PLA, and you have PLA glow, you have PLA wood, you have PLA marble. Those all have additives in it that are a different way to print, and you have to, strongly recommended to learn to print with those materials. Do your research before you start, because they will interact with your system way different than what you're experiencing with PLA or PETG. Guy at work got an Ender 5 and he said it was just printing strings. I asked him to send me the SDL and let me see what you were doing. Well, it was a plan and he had no idea about supports. A plane. David, yes, you are 100%. That's another thing for 3D printing. Supports are a thing. If you have an overhang on your file that is more than, I mean, there's a certain degree threshold, but if it sticks off your model and it goes for a certain distance, you have to have supports. And what a support is it builds with the model and it connects to the model so that when the overhang comes, it doesn't sag and it doesn't print in the air and then pretend it exists and you get a spaghetti mess. And that's what Dave is describing with the strings. It was just printing strings, which means it's just printing in the air because there's nothing there to print on to start the overhang of the model. So that's another important thing to know as a 3D printer or as a person coming into the 3D printing hobby. So David, I appreciate that insight on that. That is crucial for those coming into the hobby to know, hey, I need supports on here. What is a support? Why do I need it? All those things, I aim to help teach those and those in the community that are here with me, such as David and Iceman and all our OGs here, can help us all learn together on these live streams. And I hope that as we do like a small beginner series here on the live stream in the next couple weeks, that our OGs will attend those so that we're all here as a community together and we get to bring some new hobbyists into the hobby and have that warm, welcoming community together. DePrumo, you're very much welcome. We were there not too long ago with our Neptune 2S, and I'm like, what is this machine, and why is it not printing? I bought this thing, I spent money on it, why is it not printing? I want to throw it away because it's not printing. We had to learn it, and back in those days there was much more complicated things. Our extruders were not as high quality as they are today, and sorry, I'm distracted. I just heard my A1 Mini chirp off, and one of the build plates are done. But we have accessibility to technology today. Iceman, I still have my Ender 3. Yeah, I still have my one of my Neptune 4 Pros. That is the older style machine, but it has the direct drive extruder. That was the next evolution. But what I'm trying to say is we have access as a community now to machines that are much easier to learn, and I am excited to be able to teach and help anyone grow in this hobby because it is an amazing hobby to have, and I truly think as a community this is the place to be in 2026 and beyond. Despite all the negativity about the 3D printing ban. We'll get into that in another live stream probably. David, my first printer was the XYZ 3-in-1 Pro DaVinci. I don't even know what that printer is, to be honest. I've never heard of that printer, the XYZ 3-in-1 Pro DaVinci. That sounds like it's a dinosaur. I mean that in all the best ways. That sounds like it's one of the original OG models. That's incredible. And I hope that we have your experience here on the live streams when we go to teach new 3D printers about all the different things that they need to know, because it's a big hobby. It's a very big and warm hobby, and when you get that next level of knowledge, it is such a good feeling to have that you print something that has a really big overhang and it's successful for the very first time, and you're like, I learned something that is meaningful. It is such a rewarding feeling. David, I started printing in ABS. It was very easy. I tried PLA for the first time, got my first clog. I had the very exact opposite experience, David. I first started printing in PLA, and then I just decided to skip PETG. Just skip it and go to ABS on an open frame printer. And I was like, why are my edges curling? Why is it not sticking to the build plate? I was so lost. They had a wizard for a bed leveling. Yeah, those days are past us. No longer manual bed leveling, which is nice unless you absolutely have to for the bed mesh. DePrumo, I'll check out your content. I just found your live stream because I was searching for 3D printers. Again, LOL. Hey, yeah, check out our content. Share it if you find it helpful. Hit those likes. All those things are important to our channel. We're here for anyone and everyone that has those questions on 3D printing. We're learning this content mechanism, so have a little bit of patience on that. Some of our older stuff, we don't have great microphones or things like that, but we're here for you all. CD Guy, what are the thoughts on the P2S not having an exhaust fan? A friend of mine is debating getting the add-on kit for it, but I don't have any experience with the P2S. Okay, so an exhaust fan, it depends on what material you're printing with. If you're printing with a toxic material like ABS, or that has those VOCs, I can't remember what VOC stands for at the second, but an exhaust fan is a blessing and a curse at the same time. So exhaust fans, I mean, it puts it into the air, but you can channel it outside. With your non-exhaust fan printers, it's just going to sit in your machine and build up and build up and build up, and it's going to get really toxic in that environment. But it's also important for controlled heat. You don't want, with PLA, you don't want your temperature chamber to get too hot because it'll get warping. It'll curl up off the build plate. With ABS, it's quite different. A small draft for your print can warp it up off the build plate because it's cooled too quickly. It's things like that that exhaust fans are important because they're part of that cooling system that pushes out too much hot air, and then your intake fans, which I think the P2S has 2 of them, bring in the cool air. So it's all about temperature regulation for those filaments. And if any of our chat members, if you have any other takes on that, drop them in the comments to let me know if I'm on track there or not. David says, the Prumo, the spa videos are really good on keeping your printer running. Yes, that's what we're all about, the spa day videos. I had a comment on one of them. I've never had my AMS unit fail yet. Hey, it's gonna happen at some point. I'm not trying to knock anybody. Your AMS unit is gonna throw a code at you, and you're gonna be like, what? Why? There's nothing blocking it. There's no. Your internals are those PTFE tubes. Those are gonna need to be replaced every once in a while, especially if you're running glow filament or if you're running any sort of abrasive through your machine. I would highly, highly recommend not printing glow filament in your original AMS unit. It's not designed for it. It can do it, but it's gonna struggle. It's gonna be a struggle, and you're gonna fight with it a lot. I fight with mine a lot. So if you're gonna print with PLA glow with that additive, the AMS2 Pro is better at it. I'm trying to, and we're trying to build this channel here to where it's helpful for people. We're not about the marketing hype. We're not about selling you printers, even though we are showcasing one here on the live stream because it's interesting to us. I'm gonna try to keep things real, what works for this printer, what doesn't work, and to help the community grow. Andrew, I printed with ASA and with the Arco. It just needed hot, so it didn't run the exhaust fan. Okay, so it didn't trigger that exhaust fan. That's good to know. I hope to get my Arco running tomorrow. I missed that thing. I missed having the build volume, the 300mm build volume. Even for single multicolor prints, I could print Thor hammers that are life size and real like on that thing. Get that board switched out tomorrow. And again, if you guys want to get pretzels with us, that's a fun little thing that you can do at home as an audience, munch on some pretzels that we learn about 3D printers and enjoy our hobby together. Like I said, this week's were Pop Daddy pretzels from Strawberry Shortcake, or from Strawberry Shortcake flavor. So, the Prumo, I'll check them. I'm already making some 3D printer projects just to see how this works. I already explored some stuff. I like to learn stuff, and I'm getting interested in this area. I need a new hobby. Do a spa day for the chroma kit. Andrew, as soon as I can get mine working, I promise. I definitely want any machine in our studio. I want to be able to have a maintenance video on it and saying, hey, this is how it works. And I do have a contact at Phrozen that I can reach out to and get that in-depth machine level information from them on what works and what doesn't work from that. That's how I was in contact with them about the Hall sensor. And while I don't think I'm the reason why it happened, I think I was one of the first to cue them in on it when like 3 months ago that we had that Hall sensor experience. I think that played into it. It's not the whole reason, but I think that other people had issues too, and I wanted to collaboratively. They realized that it was an issue going forward. We got to change that out tomorrow too. DePrumo, if you don't have a 3D printer yet, play around with Orca Slicer. Download Orca Slicer and learn that. A few weeks back, we went into how to use Orca Slicer on one of our previous live streams. If you go into our live stream playlist, I think you'll see the thumbnail for the how to use Orca Slicer with beginner 3D printers, how to add your printer, how to add your filament that you want to use, your filament profile. As a beginner 3D printer, I would stick with Bambu or Sunlu as like one of the name brands of filament for your first filaments. So that way you know you're getting a high quality filament. You don't have to guess and say, okay, my filament isn't great. And if you're looking for filament, you can use our affiliate code for Sunlu. It's Be Glorious at checkout. I'll put that in the live stream here, and you can get a discount, and it does help out the channel. Now, that code won't apply if they're running some sort of like bottom line sale, but if you're just getting filament from time to time from them, it will apply a small discount. And for those of you that are just joining our live stream, we don't just stream on this side of the house. Let me show you our other side of the house here. CD guy, I just cleaned out an old Ultimaker 3 at my school's lab today, and the rods were so dirty the head couldn't even move in any axis until I soaked all the rods in alcohol. Yes, once printers, if they're left alone for a long time, corrosion can definitely sit in on them. But let me show you guys that are just joining us on the live stream, the other side of the house here. This is all our non-Bambu equipment for the most part, and on the other side we do have one non-Bambu piece of equipment over there as a printer. But this is the Bambu Sanctum. We're in Alpha Centauri right now. The Bambu Sanctum is where we have our Bambu stuff. So over there, that is, and I'll walk over there. You can see our two kitty cats up there on top of the P1Ss. They are enjoying their nap time on their warm, comfy beds. And, oh, hi Dante. Looks like we do have a unit that has got a filament tangle on there. So we'll take care of that off in the live stream. But we do have many Bambu machines. Most of them are, or actually all of them are the Generation 1 machines. 3 P1Ss, 1 A1, 1 A1 Mini that we just got a hold of the plate cycler to make that automated. So that's really cool. We're going to release a video on that, on how that works. And then you can see this very large Phrozen enclosure that we got from Phrozen. This thing is massive. I fit inside of this with all my cats. I have some content coming out related to that. And that's our Phrozen Arco we have to repair tomorrow. But this is the other side of the house that we stream on. And as you can see, we have plenty of machines that you can ask questions for, from the AMS HT to the AMS 2 Pro to the original AMS. We've worked with them all. We have plenty of experience with them. If we don't have the answer for it, we will find it on the Bambu Wiki somewhere. But a couple of the things that we have, the Sunlu AMS heater for the original AMS just came out not too long ago. We have 3 of those. We love those machines. They work. They help with filament drying while you're printing with the OG AMS. And then the IBOS heater, we just released a video on that today. Super, super, if you want to get nitty gritty into the weeds on, you want to have multiple materials in there heating at the same time, this is the machine that does that. The AMS Sunlu heater is a single bay for, like, if you have all PLA. If you have PETG, ABS, and PLA in here, you can set the individual bay temperatures for that. So that's some different things that we have in there in the studio. So we have some answers out there if you enjoy that type of thing. So let me get back over to the Alpha Centauri so I can see your comments if there's any questions you have in there. The Prumo. I'll try that. I know seeing one of Bambu A1 Mini for 100 with, if I don't buy a new one, I'll just grab that one anyway. I guess it's not a problem getting a used one. Well, there's a trade-off with getting a used one. So you don't know what they did with their machine and how well they took care of it. I've seen on the Bambu Lab forums on Facebook, someone got a used P1S from another person, and there's an extended amount of time went came across, and they're still cleaning out sawdust that they have in the P1S from that original owner, and it's still causing them issues. So inspect your machine, make sure that there's no breakage or things like that. Check out our A1 Mini video. We did a maintenance video on that, and that'll break down what the interiors look like on that. And just do the research on what a healthy machine, that was what I would put it, looks like. So that way you don't get a limit. I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's content. I'll go back and put some timestamps in this live stream so you guys can view it afterwards if there's any information that happened. I usually do that the day after. I'm trying to get better at that. Originally, I wasn't even aware that was a thing that needed to be done. But I'll do that. Get those timestamps in there for you guys tomorrow after YouTube uploads it. Definitely excited about this new printer coming out. The Co Print one is a promising one. And if you're new to 3D printing, the Anycubic Kobra X just dropped and is very similar to the A1 series printer from Bambu. To Prumo, I already have a lemon tree anyway. Lemons do grow on trees, I will give you that. So I hope you guys are enjoying this content. We'll be here every week on Wednesday from 7:30 to 9:30. If we're not here, check our community page on YouTube and our Facebook page if you haven't checked that out. CDI, I just bought one of the E3D high flow nozzles for my P1S. Is there anything to worry about, or is it mostly just a drop-in replacement? E3D high flow nozzles. Let me take a look at that real quick. I'm not familiar with that nozzle. E3D high flow nozzle. Oh, it's from BQ. Okay. I'm hoping they send one of those in our unit, our review unit. It says drop in upgrade. Let's see if there's a offering exceptional wear resistance and anti-stick, compatible range of sizes. Drop in upgrades. Now, did you get just the nozzle, or did you get? I'll share my screen here. Oh, Iceman, you're already answering the question. It drops in and they already have print files on Maker World. Excellent. Thank you for answering that question. That's what the community is all about. I'm hoping we get one of those in the BQ package that they're sending. Iceman, when you get that, when you install that nozzle, would you consider that you need to do a calibration afterwards? I would assume, because I would imagine it's got a different. Well, anytime you change something on your printer, you should always do a calibration, so that way it has less likely to damage your machine. It cuts print time too. Is there a setting, Iceman, in Bambu Studio that we need to change when we get that? Yeah, so definitely do a calibration. Anytime you change something on there, or anytime you do maintenance, you swap out a build plate to a different build plate, a calibration is going to be helpful, because that's going to, I mean, between vibrations, the distance from your nozzle to your bed, all that's going to change over time, and that will affect print quality. It could be a layer adhesion. Maybe your first layer doesn't go down properly. It's too close. It gets elephant foot, which is, it squishes out. And I keep rubbing my hands, sorry. Or it lifts off the build plate, meaning that it's not far enough or not close enough to the build plate when it goes down. So it's things like that that calibrations are useful for. So while it's advertised as drop-in, please do a calibration with your machine after you put it in. And I'll see if I can't get my hands on one of those high flow nozzles to be able to get some more experience on that too. So I hope that answered your question as best of my ability, and I'm glad that our community chat is there for us to have that experience too. It's on Maker Roll. If you type E3D nozzle, they have settings you saved. They have settings you saved. Okay, let me check that out. On Maker World, I think I have Maker World brought up over here. E3D. Official. Oh yeah, okay. I'll share my screen here in a second, guys. Print profiles. So you said the P1S, correct? I believe. Let me go back. P1S slicer profiles. I'll give you the link for the E3D's official profile. I believe, Iceman, if you check the chat right now, I think that's what you're talking about. They have the slicer profile in there that's available to use with that nozzle. So I hope that helps answer your question about the Obsidian E3D high flow nozzle. That thing looks really cool. It was like 2 days ago, I was looking at that on BQ's site, and I'm like, how can I get a nozzle on the P1S that's not as much of a pain to change as the stock model? I was even looking at maybe they made adapters for the quick swap nozzles from the A1 series, but no one's made that yet that I'm aware of. All right, cool, Iceman. I really appreciate that feedback on that. So we can firmly state that that link that's in the chat, CD guy, would be a link that you would want to use for your slicer profile for that hot end. I'm excited to see that hot end in use. Let me know how it's working for you, because that is also an upgrade that I wish to do for our P1Ss. Some of the upgrades that we've done on our P1S machine is we've got that Panda Claw and Panda Extruder. That has saved me so much headache, I can't even begin to tell you. It is the upgrade, and it's in our P1S Extruder video. You can check that out, how to do that. It has saved me so much headache when it comes to filament jams in the extruder gears. And maintenance, I can just blow it out instead of having to take the thing apart. Yeah, I had no idea about the profile, so I'll make copies of those tonight. Thanks for all the help. Absolutely. Again, and thank you to Iceman. Shout out to Iceman. Thank you for that help with the answer and providing that information. This is what the community is all about. We're helping each other. Another one of the upgrades that I would totally, if you're new to 3D printing, and yes, we are starting to have a relationship with BQ. They make great products for the ones that we have. Their Cryo Grip and their Frostbite build plates, they're just coming out new colors too, by the way. They make that first layer of bed adhesion so much easier. And an added addition is they allow you to print with PLA and PETG and some other filaments now too with those new plates at no bed heat or very little bed heat, which saves you energy bill. Saves you money on your energy bill in the long term. And if you have a power outage, which we've experienced here in the studio, your plates with like traditional PEIs, which need to be hot, and when they cool, they release your prints. The cryo plates don't do that. As they cool, they still hold on to your prints. So if you have a power outage, I can't say they do it all the time, but in the studio, I've not had it release a print during a power outage. It doesn't release it, so your resume function can resume, and you don't lose your print. I will say I've had my resume function not function properly, and then I lose my print anyways, but the plates have not failed me to this point. Andrew Crowd, they need a plate for the Arco. Oh man, if they had a plate for the Arco, I would love it. That's the only one I don't have in the studio. I have a cryo plate for our A1. I have a cryo plate for our A1 Mini. I have a cryo plates for all the P1Ss, and I even have a cryo plate for the Snapmaker U1. So definitely believe in that upgrade 100%. We're all about any upgrades that make life easier as a printer hobbyist. So, but without any further ado, I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's live stream, and thank you for showing up from week to week and helping us out for this live stream. And we're learning together as always. And if you have any questions, bring them next week, and we will definitely try to get them answered. And until next week.